And now I will pass it to Stephanie for the land acknowledgement.
Hi, thank you, Chloe. So, NEADS acknowledges that our office is located in the traditional unceded territory of the Anagi, Anagwin, Anashpi Nation, on which Carleton University is situated, a place that has been long been a site of learning and community. As a national organization working both in the space and virtually, we also want to acknowledge that individuals are accessing our programs, events, and resources from Indigenous lands and communities across what is now known as Canada.
Thank you. You can move into your report.
Okay, thank you, Chloe. So, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This past year has been a strong and meaningful one for NEADS. Over the past 12 months, we continue to grow our programs, build partnerships, and support disabled students and graduates across Canada. I'm really proud of the work that we accomplished together and the impact of the team, board members, and partners are making to advance accessibility, opportunity, and inclusion in education and employment. One of our biggest focuses this year was the Building Employment Pathways project. Through this work, our job coaches supported many disabled students and graduates as they moved towards meaningful employment. We saw real results, people building confidence, developing skills, and finding ways to navigate barriers in the workplace. We also hosted a number of accessible online events for our community. There was there were shared through Zoom and on our YouTube channel, so they could reach as many people as possible. Some of these events included You Belong in Law School, using AI as an accommodation, navigating disclosure at work, and the impact of the pandemic and graduate students with disabilities. These conversations created space for learning, connection, and leadership within our community. Another important area of work this year was expanding the resources we offer online. Across our 4 websites, we added new information and support for students. This included updates to disabilityawards.ca, where we added new scholarships, bursaries, loans, and grants to help disabled students find financial support. Partnerships also remained a key part of our work. We continue collaborating with organizations across Canada, including the Council of Canadians with Disabilities, the Manitoba League of Persons with Disabilities, the Quebec Association for Equity and Inclusion in Post-Secondary Education, and Elevate. We also work closely with campus disability groups and help amplify the voices of disabled students by sharing their events and initiatives. Throughout this year, NEADS board members and staff represented the organization at conferences and events across the country, both online and in person. We saw strong growth in our social media engagement across Facebook, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, and LinkedIn. Another important part of our work was providing one-on-one advocacy support to students who were facing barriers in education or employment when proper accommodations are not being provided. This work is the heart of what NEADS does, helping ensure disabled students have the support they need to succeed. As we approach the new fiscal year on April 1st, I am very positive about our funding and the future of our work. Over 150,000 operational grant through the Government of Canada Social Development Partnerships Program in 2026 to 2027 has been secured. In December, we also received an additional 60,875 for our Building Pathways to Employment project, along with an extension to complete the project. Our contracts with Canadian Centre for Human Rights and the Business of Higher Education Roundtable will continue into the fiscal year. And we also started a new partnership with Election Canada. We also signed a new agreement with Can Assist at the University of Victoria, funded through the Government of Canada Opportunities Fund. Through this partnership, NEADS will serve as a partner location for the Can Assist Pathways program and deliver one 6-month cohort between March and December 2026. The opportunity reflects the strength of our job coaching program and will continue to allow us to continue employing some of our job coaches beyond the completion of the Building Pathways to Employment project. On a personal level, I also had the opportunity to represent NEADS in several important spaces this year. I spoke at Demo Day with Wavebreakers about inclusive workplaces and accessible leadership. I also joined the Accessibility Working Group with Wave Point Center for Communication Accessibility, where I've been working on improving travel accessibility in these spaces. I highlight the importance of building systems and that are inclusive, accessible, and guided by lived experience. I also joined the Business and Higher Education Roundtable Accessibility Committee as co-chair, where I'm working with organizations and businesses across Canada to strengthen accessibility spaces. In addition, I work with Air Canada on travel accessibility and spoke with the Canadian Human Rights Commission and the Canadian Mental Health Commission about improving systems and outcomes for people with disabilities. One of the highlights of this year was being selected as one of 20 Canadians to represent Canada at the World Disability Summit in Berlin. It was a real honor to bring the voices and perspectives of disabled students and leaders from Canada to a global stage. Overall, this year has been growth, stability, and strong partnerships. NEADS continue to center lived experience, expand opportunities, and strengthen community across the country. As we move into the fiscal year, we will do so with momentum, a clear commitment to building more accessible and inclusive systems. I also like to share an important leadership update. So Katja Newman will be promoted to the role of National Coordinator once Frank Smith retires after 40 years in the position in fall 2026. Katja has been a dedicated senior member of the NEADS team and, and been part of the community for many years. She brings strong leadership and management skills and a deep commitment to in advancing accessibility and opportunity. I would also like to take a moment to recognize Frank Smith, who will be retiring in fall 2026 after 40 years as National Coordinator. Frank has been such an important part of NEADS for many years, and his impact really can't be overstated. His leadership and commitment to accessibility and opportunity has shaped this organization in lasting ways. I'm really grateful for everything he has contributed. I know that his legacy will continue to be felt in the ways we do moving forward. We also welcome 3 new board members to this year: Bianca, Director at Large for Ontario; Maureen, Quebec Director, and Ameria, PEI Director. Their additional strengthens our board and bring new perspectives and lived experience to our governance work. Finally, I want to say a huge thank you to our incredible NEADS staff, consultants, and board members. Your dedication and passion for our mission truly makes a difference. NEADS remains Canada's only organization representing post-secondary and graduates with disabilities, supporting nearly 500,000 students currently in college and university, along with many graduates building their careers. Thank you all for the work that you do every day to make accessibility, to make, to move accessibility forward. Thank you.
Cinco Tiffany. We will now welcome Elizabeth Dorothy Needs Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chloe, and thanks. So, as Vice Chair and New Brunswick Director of the National Educational Association of Disabled Students, I have had the opportunity this past year to represent NEADS at several key forums, including engagements with Research New Brunswick, participation in the ASI Atlantic Summer Institute 2025 conference, and an IDEA and healthcare conference. In May 2025, I completed my second degree and graduated with a Bachelor of Social Work from St. Thomas University, further strengthening my role at NEADS by grounding my advocacy in social policy, disability rights, and systems level analysis. On May 1st, 2025, the University of New Brunswick St. John campus hosted the first ever IDEA and Healthcare Conference, organized by the Department of Nursing and Health Sciences. This inaugural conference, celebrating individuality, inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility in healthcare, brought together students, healthcare professionals, and community advocates to explore how culturally informed and inclusive care can transform health outcomes in New Brunswick and beyond. Participating in this dialogue as a NEADS representative highlighted the important intersection between disability, education, and equitable access to health systems. I also attended the 2025 Health Research Symposium hosted by Research New Brunswick, which focused on powering discovery together, bringing together researchers, healthcare leaders, and policymakers to examine how research and collaboration can strengthen health systems and improve real world outcomes for New Brunswickers, including students. In late summer, I participated alongside Stephanie Evans, our chair, on the podcast Practical Accessibility Insights to discuss our post secondary experiences and to shine light on NEADS. Additionally, participation in the 2025 Atlantic Summer Institute Policy Conference provided an opportunity to engage in national policy discussions focused on accessibility, inclusive design, and advancing systemic change within post secondary institutions. These engagements have provided meaningful opportunities to advance conversations around accessibility, inclusive research, and equitable healthcare and education systems. In the current context of post secondary education in New Brunswick, where institutions are navigating financial pressures and restructuring, continued advocacy is especially critical. Services and supports that disabled students rely on, including accessibility services, accommodation supports, and assistive technology resources, are often among the first areas affected during budget reductions. As a result, it remains essential that the voices and lived experiences of disabled students remain central in institutional decision making. Our work at NEADS continues to underscore the importance of sustained advocacy to ensure that students with disabilities are not disproportionately impacted by systemic change and that accessible, inclusive learning environments remain a priority. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Elizabeth, and Stephen for your work. we will now welcome Frank Demme, NEADS National Coordinator.
Thank you, Chloe. Stéphane Brany, Executive Director of l'Association québécoise pour l'équité et l'inclusion au post-secondaire, ACEPS, passed away on January 3rd at the age of 59. This was, of course, an especially huge loss for Stéphane's family and friends. Those of us who knew him and collaborated with Stéphane in the disability community also mourn his passing and miss him greatly. Stéphane worked closely with the NEADS team as ACEPS partnered with our organization on projects including the Building Employment Pathways Project. We are honoring Stéphane today at our general meeting. I've asked Felicity Spence, ACEPS Acting Executive Director, to speak about Stéphane. Over to you, Felicity.
Thank you, Frank, and thank you for inviting me. It is with great sadness and a heavy heart that I'm here today to pay tribute to an amazing person, dear colleague and friend, Stéphane Brany, passed away at the beginning of January this year. Stéphane was the General Director at ACEPS, the Quebec Association for Equity and Inclusion in Post-Secondary Education, beginning in August 2022. While originally hired as project manager, Stéphane soon became General Director, a role he took to with great enthusiasm. During his time at ACEPS, alongside a team of dedicated employees, members, and partners, Stéphane worked tirelessly to expand the association's activities, leading ACEPS to take on and collaborate on and complete several projects, including the Pathways to Employment project in collaboration with NEADS. Over the years, Stéphane worked hard to develop partnerships and ensure that ACEPS become better known to students with disabilities, as well as within academic, community, and public sectors. For Stéphane, nothing was impossible, and every project, partnership, and activity was seen as an opportunity to further improve accessibility and advocate for people with disabilities. As a person, Stéphane was open, positive, a great communicator, and very down to earth. Everyone who met him felt at ease with him and sensed his curiosity and his enthusiasm to talk and connect with others. While many people knew Stéphane from in-person encounters, his community of friends and connections spread throughout the province, country, and beyond. Stéphane was great at talking on the phone and a great listener. Many people have told me when they heard the sad news that they were surprised to realize that they had never actually met him in person, but felt like they had after years of phone conversations and video conferences. Sorry. Stéphane leaves behind a legacy of what is possible. Following a diving accident at the age of 27, which left him quadriplegic, Stéphane was told in no uncertain terms that he should limit his ideas of what he could do and accomplish, but Stéphane had other plans. He returned to school and completed his bachelor's degree in business administration in 2005. He worked as a management consultant and as a city councillor in his hometown of Lachute, Quebec, for many years. Stéphane decided to go back to school in 2019 to pursue a graduate certificate in information technology and governance at TELUC University. It was during this time that Stéphane discovered ACEPS. Stéphane is remembered by his family, his mother, children, grandchildren, uncles, aunts, and cousins, friends, colleagues, and members of the community. His kindness, enthusiasm, and advocacy that has touched so many will live on in our memories, as well as our continued actions to make the world a more beautiful and accessible place. Thank you.
Merci, Félicité. Next, we will welcome Catherine Farnham Bluff to provide an overview of our financial statement.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Catherine from Marcel-Lavallée, the auditor firm. I will start by resuming our independent report, and then I will present the overview of the financial statement. In our report, it's mentioned that we have audited the financial statement of NEADS for the year end of March 31st, 2025. And in our opinion, the financial statement present fairly in all material respect the financial result for the year end 2025, and they are in accordance with the Canadian accounting standard for not-for-profit organization. Our report mentioned that we have conducted our audit in accordance with the Canadian Generally Accepted Auditing Standard. And the rest of the paragraph resume the responsibility of the management and us, the auditors, in terms of financial statement. Management is responsible for the preparation of the financial statement and to make sure that they put control in place to determine that the financial statement are free from material misstatement. And us, the auditor, our responsibility is to make sure to do some testing and to obtain assurance about the financial statement that they are free from material misstatement. Our report is dated September 2025, which represents the date of approval of the financial statement by the Board of Directors. The statement of operation represents all the revenue and expenses from April 2024 up to March 2025. Total revenue for the year, it's $1,097,000, and it's mainly composed of the money received from the federal grant for all the projects occurred during the year, and it's a total of $1,061,000. Also, we have other revenues, consulting, private contribution, and donation. And in terms of expenses, total expenses, $1,119,000, and it's mainly composed of salaries paid to employees, $386,000, scholarship fees paid to students, $365,000, and consultation fees and all the other expenses to help cover the activities and the project occur during the year. So total revenue less total expenses needs finish the year with a small deficit of $21,403 for March 31st, 2025. And here, the statement of financial position represent what NEADS had as of March 2025. So total asset, $198,000. It's mainly composed of cash in the bank account, some investment in account receivable. And then in terms of liability, $266,000. It's some scholarship payable, other payable to suppliers, and money received from federal grant for project that occurred during the fiscal year and that will end in March 2026. And an accumulated deficit in the organization of 68,000. So this concludes my presentation of the financial statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Now we will move to the director report. I will ask Adam to begin.
Thank you, Chloe. And I also want to extend a heartfelt thank you to Felicity for the tribute of Stefan. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Adam David, and I'm honored to be joining you today as the Alberta Director and past chair of the Board of Directors at the National Educational Association of Disabled Students. I'm currently a medical student at the University of Alberta, where I've been working with faculty to help make medicine a more inclusive and accessible space for students with disabilities. Much of my work, both in medicine and through my volunteer roles, focuses on advancing accessibility, equity, and meaningful inclusion. NEADS is an organization that I care deeply about. It has been a privilege to work alongside such dedicated advocates, staff, and community members for the past almost 8 years that I've been with NEADS. I'm very grateful to be here today with all of you who are committed to improving educational opportunities and removing barriers for students with disabilities across Canada. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. We will move to this cause.
Okay. Thank you, Chloe. So my name is Paige Cox. I am currently the Nova Scotia Provincial Director of NEADS. I have just completed my first year as Nova Scotia Director. This past year, I graduated from Cape Breton University with my Master of Education degree. This is my 4th accreditation from a post-secondary institution. My research area throughout my master's degree focused around reducing inequalities and overall just allowing for creation of, I guess, a better world and just allowing people to advocate for people to reach their full potential. So I have been lucky to attend many events over the last year. Specifically, I wanted to talk about something I did back in February. So in February, I spoke at St. Mary's University in Halifax on behalf of NEADS. So within this presentation, I spoke about a variety of things, but one of the big things that I spoke to was just the power of kindness for individuals with disabilities. And I spoke to this by talking about my own story, by talking about my two best friends, and just putting the importance of first voice and my own story behind, I guess, what we do every day in terms of advocacy and just life. Um, so I think that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. As a deaf person, Stephanie noted, we are welcoming 3 new board members. With Amira.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amira Rahman. I use pronouns she, her. I'd like to take a second to say thank you for having me. It's truly an honor to be here and work alongside with individuals who share a commitment to supporting students and graduates with disabilities and accessing resources and supports they need to thrive in life and work. I'm excited to be joining with you as the board member for PEI, and I look forward to learning more about this organization and from all of you. A bit about how I got here. I had the pleasure of meeting Paige Cox through the ASI Youth Leadership Program last year, where I had participated as a youth member. During that time, she introduced me to NEADS and encouraged me to apply for this opportunity. I'm very grateful that I did. In terms of my background, I was born and raised in Saudi Arabia and come from a Filipino and Bangladeshi background. I moved to Canada to study at the University of Prince Edward Island, where I completed a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and minored in Sociology. I have a strong interest in disability studies, accessibility, equity, and inclusive design. For the past 3 years, I've been working with Resource Abilities. It is a nonprofit organization where I work in a position where I support individuals with disabilities by helping them accessing various provincial, federal, and community-based programs. This includes benefits like the Canada Pension Plan Disability, the disability tax credit, and other services such as advocacy and some accessibility consultation work. I'm also involved in geriatric research through the Age Strong Lab with Dr. Jessica Strong at UPI, and I serve on the ASI Advisory Committee. I'm really looking forward to contributing and working together with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Amira. Welcome. Then we have Bianca who submitted a recording.
Hi. My name is Bianca Lenarduzzi. I am a new board member for NEADS. I am also the CFS Disability Constituency Commissioner. I'm with the Ontario College of Social Workers and Social Service Workers as a council member. I am also with the Organization of Part-Time University Students, and I'm also on a bunch of different committees. I also have been fighting for since 2018 for OSAP, so that's been a huge issue, as well as other things. If you'd like to know, just email me and let me know. Thank you. Bye.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bianca. We will meet them in the future. Now we're welcoming Maureen.
So I'm really happy to start as Quebec Director for NEADS. It's something that's really important to me, and I really want to contribute to making a difference for inclusion and well-being of students with disability. I got there mainly because of Stéphane Brané. Since I'm on the board also of AGM, he had talked to me about getting involved in NEADS, and he knew that the Quebec director position was available, and we talked a lot about it. Initially, I didn't really do anything, but now I feel like this is something I have the time and the energy to do, and I really want to get involved. I'm currently a student in doing a PhD in education sciences. I'm also doing a graduate diploma in management, but initially I did my bachelor's in human resources before getting to education for my master's and my PhD. My research interests are on mental health and resilience of neurodivergent students in higher education, and I'm involved in different organizations such as AGM. I also started a student group called Voix Neurodiverse in my university. I'm the co-leader of the Students with Disability section of the Quebec Observatory of Mental Health in Higher Education. And I also work part-time for NeuroPlus, so I help neurodivergent individuals in getting accustomed in their jobs and give advices to employers to have better practices, more inclusive practices. So I try to get involved as much as I can because it's something that really matters to me.
Wonderful. Thank you, Marie. We will now move to the staff report. We will begin with data.
Hello, everybody. So I will be mainly providing an update on the NEADS Financial Assistance Program, which I am director of, as well as our Building Employment Pathways project, and an exciting new collaboration that will be starting in the next couple of days. So to start off with the financial assistance program, 2025 was a bit of a quieter year for the program, but there was still a lot of exciting work that occurred. So in fall 2025, we again facilitated the application period for the Accessible Media Incorporated Robert Pearson Memorial Scholarships, with 2 students each receiving a $5,000 scholarship, one student being in the English community and the other in the Francophone community. We also launched NEADS's first ever fundraising campaign that was intended to support the financial assistance program. We were able to raise a modest $620 to support future grants and scholarships, and look forward to bringing that campaign back in the near future with some more momentum. We continue to explore new funding opportunities for the program and new partnerships, and work to rebuild and expand the financial support that we are able to provide to students with disabilities. Next slide. So our next application period will be the fall of 2026. And at this point, We know that the two Accessible Media Incorporated Robert Pearson Memorial Scholarships will be offered, as well as we will be offering another round of the Connor, Clark, and Lunn Financial Group Scholarship, which specifically supports students pursuing a degree in a business and related field of study. So we're grateful to have that partnership, those partnerships for yet another year. We also have a number of exciting partnerships that are in development that we're hopeful will be ready for the fall 2026 cycle. And as a bit of a preview, that some of the partnerships that are under discussion, one would pertain to students studying in the construction sector. Another would support identifying individuals who are involved in sport. Another will likely support a student specifically who identifies with having a mental health related disability. And a fourth will provide support for a student who is involved in research related work. And we do recognize the impact of the funding gap that we have had for the 2025-2026 year, but are committed to growing the program and resuming support for students. Next slide. So now I will provide a bit of a overview on our Building Employment Pathways project. So the program has been delivered nationally since January 2024 and is wrapping up this month. We've been able to provide individualized coaching to 86 participants over this time. The individuals that we worked with represented a wide variety of disability types, identities, and cultural backgrounds, with 59% identifying as having multiple concurrent disabilities. We were able to provide support to students and recent graduates with building employment readiness, securing work, and navigating the transition from school to the labor market. Next slide. During their time working with us, we had 27 participants who secured employment of some form. We were able to provide 26,841 minutes of coaching time across our team of 6 coaches. 69 asset maps were completed during the program, with those maps supporting the participants with identifying their strengths, setting goals, and tracking their progress over time. Participants reported increased confidence, improved clarity in their career path, and stronger readiness for employment. We feel that the program really did contribute towards meaningful progress towards employment, as well as skill development and sustainable livelihood pathways. Next slide. So I will end off with a new partnership announcement. So we are excited to share that starting in April, we will be partnering with Can Assist at the University of Victoria. And we've been asked to deliver one of their job journey pathways cohorts. So this partnership is made possible through Employment and Social Development Canada's Opportunities Fund. And as some context, Can Assist's broader Job Journeys program supports folks with disabilities or mental health conditions in gaining employment, whereas the Job Journey Pathways stream, which is specifically what we will be facilitating, is aimed specifically at supporting students who self-identify as having some form of a learning disability. And it will support the folks who participate in early career development and transition planning. It will also support them to build confidence in employment skills. Next slide. So the way this partnership is structured is that it will be a six-month program, and we'll be accepting 10 participants, with the program being delivered virtually via Zoom. Participants will receive individualized job coaching, ongoing support, and skill development. So the intake process will comprise a pre-screening form completed by the applicant, after which selected individuals will be invited to an intake interview, with the intake interview being used to determine eligibility and selection for one of the 10 spots available. Next slide. So the program will support participants to explore career options and identify goals, build their job readiness and self-advocacy, develop their resumes, interview and communication skills. And an exciting part of the program is that it will offer workplace exposure through paid work placements, as well as employment supports and opportunities to receive certificates and training. Next slide. We're really excited about this partnership. We'll build on our 3 years of delivering the Building Employment Pathways project. It will definitely continue to advance NEADS' mission to remove barriers to career development for students and recent graduates with disabilities. And we're excited that it will create more inclusive and accessible employment opportunities across Canada. And that's all for me today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ganga. Then I would spend time discussing a few collaborative projects as well as the recent updates. So Hi everyone, my name is Chloe. My pronouns are the NT, and I'm NEADS Educational Programming Director as well as the research manager. Since fall 2025, NEADS has been a community research and engagement partner on a project led by the business and higher education roundtables entitled Closing the Gap, Gazing Skills for Young Canadians with Disabilities. We engage with the peer project team in several ways, including assisting in the recruitment of interview participants through our network of disabled and neurodivergent post-secondary students. We also review peers audit frameworks for accessibility and inclusivity. And as well, we sit on the peer accessibility advisory committee where we provide feedback on upcoming work. The project is ongoing until winter 2027, and we are excited to learn how its various aspects evolve. The second project that we are currently involved in is titled Housing and the Politics of Access, an art-based inquiry. It stems from a partnership between the Canadian Centre for Housing Rights and NEADS. It aims to explore how disabled and neurodivergent students, as well as recent graduates, navigate precarious housing while in post-secondary education, entering the early stages of employment. This art-based inquiry project was supported by CCHR with funding from the Social science and humanities research council within their race, center, and diversity initiative. Since January, a cohort of disabled post-secondary students and recent graduates have explored the interconnection between disability, neurodiverse, and RC through a creative process. These participants have also engaged in focus groups and interviews to help us investigate the compounded discrimination while seeking accessible and affordable housing during their post-secondary studies and early years of employment. Most recently, project participants have shared their creation at a virtual coffee house. The third project is a research component of the pathways project that Katia already spoke about. We are working alongside Dr. Stars and Nina from Nipissing University to write a consensus informed practice sentences as well as to conduct focus groups and interviews with our job coaches. Thank you. Next, we will hear from Sarah on communications and partnerships.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Perfect. So my name is Sarah Shalansky. My pronouns are she and her. I am the Director of Communications at NEADS. This past year, the position of Director of Partnerships and Communications was actually split into two separate roles. My colleague Isabella, who had this role before me, transitioned to focusing on partnerships as the Director of Partnerships and Government Relations. And I came in this past August to start as NEADS Director of Communications. You may have seen my face before in relation to NEADS because I have worked with NEADS on and off since 2018. In the past, I have also been a research assistant and a researcher. Outside of NEADS, I've also been a communications project assistant at Carleton University and the student leader of the network of persons with disabilities at the Parole Board of Canada. I'm extremely passionate about issues related to accessibility, equity, and intersectionality. So a lot of my academic and professional focus has been on episodic disabilities, invisible disabilities, and rare disabilities. I am a person living with multiple invisible disabilities myself, including Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder, as well as anxiety, depression, ADHD, and sensory processing disorder. Because I got diagnosed with all of these within the course of my undergraduate degree, which was quite the journey, I ended up doing a minor in disability studies and getting really involved in this sector, which has been a great experience. And a lot of that has been very much thanks to NEADS. So as Director of Communications at NEADS, my primary tasks can involve creating content for our various social media accounts and writing our monthly newsletters. So I'm going to delve a bit more into what I do with our social media on the next slide. So we have accounts on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, X, and Blue Sky. What we do on these platforms includes updates about what we at NEADS are up to, including promoting our events, projects, collaborations, partnerships, and anything else that's new and noteworthy at the time. But we also share a lot from our community. We share news, resources that are helpful for post-secondary students and recent graduates. We share scholarship deadlines and events happening in our community, and all sorts of exciting opportunities that are out there for disabled post-secondary students and recent graduates. On top of that, we also create content for special days throughout the year, as well as educational and informative content. Some noteworthy examples from this past year include the wonderful series my colleague Isabella did for Pride Month and Disability Pride Month in June and July, as well as Invisible Disabilities Week in October. Some of our educational series from the past year include our NEADS News Now series, budget breakdowns, and guides about how to vote in a federal election. Posts like these do tend to get the best engagement from our followers. They are a lot of the students that follow us enjoy getting to learn through posts like these. So speaking of engagement, let's take a look at some numbers on the next slide. So while there was a decrease in the amount of content posted across our platforms during this year due to a combination of the position handover in the middle of the year, as well as time constraints, we did still see an increase in followers across all of our platforms. As shown on the slides, our Facebook account has the most followers at 2,328, which was an increase of 180 followers this year, which was a 29% increase from the previous year. On Instagram, we have 1,328 followers, which was an increase by 938%. I think I put the wrong number on the slide. My apologies. We actually had a follower increase of 353 within the last year. On LinkedIn, we have 695 followers, which was a 27% increase, an increase of 155. On X, we have 1,556. And on Blue Sky, which we did just start at the beginning of the previous year, so it's still new, we have 116 followers, which has been a significant increase because of the newness of the account. So our audience, well, we tend, sorry, no, can you go back to, thank you. I'm going to talk a little bit more about numbers. So I didn't keep them in order of how many followers we have on the slides, because even though X has the second amount of followers by numbers, we do see our best engagement on Facebook and Facebook and Instagram, followed by LinkedIn. So we actually had 118.2 thousand views on Facebook this year, and 1,900 approximately interactions. All of interactions, views, and visits were all up from the previous year. On Instagram, we had 67.2 thousand views, and 1.5 thousand interactions, which was up by 100%. And even though our reach and visits were down slightly from the previous year, those number of views and interactions are encouraging. On LinkedIn, our impressions increased by 114% at 21.5 thousand impressions. And even though engagement rate did go down on that platform, the number of clicks has increased by 26%. Okay, you can go to the next slide now, please. So another aspect of my job as communications director is our newsletters. So the NEADS letter is our monthly newsletter, and I can happily announce that we recently surpassed 1,500 subscribers to our newsletter. And this is our monthly newsletter that contains updates from the NEADS team, as well as opportunities from within the broader community. This could be anything from calls for participants in research, to upcoming events, to recent reports or resources that have been released that may be of interest to students and recent graduates with disabilities. But also this year, we started a second newsletter through Substack. This past fall, my colleague Isabella started a Substack newsletter called Disability Digest. It was just started in October, and we have 67 subscribers now. And this newsletter is specifically for Canadian politics in relation to disability. It's easy to read recaps of relevant and recent provincial and federal political news that may be of particular interest or relevance for disabled post-secondary students and recent graduates. We have had 4 of these newsletters go out so far. The first provided an introduction to Canadian parliamentary politics. The second was a short and sweet summary of items from the 2025 federal budget that may be extra important for people with disabilities in Canada. The third dove into recent provincial and federal legislature related to reproductive health care in Canada. And the last closed out the calendar year with a recap of 2025 in Canadian politics. Okay, one more slide, please. Quick look ahead at what's to come. We will, of course, be continuing our NEADS letter each month, where we share what's happening at NEADS and in our community. We will be bringing back several Instagram features and campaigns, such as Fast Fact Friday and more NEADS News Now posts, which have been on a little bit of a hiatus. As mentioned, there were some time constraints in the second half of the year during the position handover. So one of my main goals for the coming months is increasing not only the amount of original content posted across our platforms, but also time spent engaging with our community through these platforms. And of course, I will continue keeping everyone up to date on what's going on at NEADS through our newsletters, social medias, and press releases. So that's what's going on with communications this year. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sarah. Last but certainly not least, we have Elia.
Thank you, Chloe. So I am Aaliyah Petzak Grant, NEADS Director, Website Content and Digital Engagement. Next slide, please. So, NEADS maintains a growing digital ecosystem that supports students with disabilities across Canada. These platforms provide information, scholarships, advocacy resources, storytelling, opportunities for these students, and even information on employment and accessibility practices that connect students, graduates, educators, and community partners. NEADS currently maintains several websites that supports different areas of our work and outreach to students with disabilities across Canada. Together, these platforms are an interconnected digital ecosystem that helps students find opportunities, share experiences, and, as I said, important resources. So NEADS, we have a website network. We have the parent site, needs.ca, which acts as our main website and information hub. And then we have disabilityawards.ca, kind of a community favorite, a national scholarship and bursary database for students with disabilities. Then we have breakingitdown.ca, a employment and accommodation platform. And then finally, we have Disability Rights Online. That is an affiliated website through the Council of Canadians with Disabilities. And this site focuses on policy, advocacy, and disability rights. Next slide, please. So, sorry, excuse me, sorry. So across NEADS digital engagement, it continues to grow and remain strong when compared to non-for-profit general benchmarks. Above, I just have on the slide an image of needs.ca. Next slide, please. With digital reach and impact across all of our websites, I already read that. So our average sessions, and this is a average taken across from all of our websites. Average session duration is 1.5 to 2 minutes per session. Average pages per visit, 1 to 3 pages. This number may seem low, but this is being counted as meaningful interactions on the site. And most of our visitors are coming from mobile or iPad, and that's around 55 to 65% of the users on our site. This is a specifically interesting analytic because we're coming to more an age where people prefer to do work from on their phone or iPad versus the computer. And this has seen less kind of meaningful engagement on interacting since people prefer to do that kind of stuff from their PCs when they're actually applying. But I thought I'd share that because that was a quite heavy increase of people from going from computer to the mobile. Search engine traffic is up by approximately 45 to 55% and returning the people who return to our site are approximately between 30 to 35%. And there is a 15% margin of error just because I had to combine all the analytics together and each site uses a different system to do that. So it's just, these are kind of rough estimates. And next slide. So for tasks and ongoing responsibilities, so basically for those who are new or don't know what I do, it's general IT and website troubleshooting. So this is more the day-to-day management of our domains, DNS and hosting services through GoDaddy, website backups and file management, security updates and systems being monitored, accessibility updates across all websites, email and website inquiry responses, French translations and updates across sites, and maintenance of our Canada Helps campaigns and donations. And my personal favorite, continuous updates to the Disability Awards scholarship database and updates as needed across our other platforms. And for completed projects, I assisted in the Pathways project, so recreating an accessible layout on breakingitdown.ca. There was a summer project that we did with the CRA, a guide to the Canadian tax credit, and as well as improved responsiveness to email inquiries and content management workflows. Next slide, please. So before I jump ahead to my farewell, another thing that we have been working on is our technical infrastructure. So maintaining all of our systems, it's ongoing technical administration, and this includes, as I said, our GoDaddy administration, domain management, DNS hosting, and certificate management. And looking ahead, the goal is to enhance accessibility across our platforms and enhance the rate in which we can update content, improving navigation and user experience for a more cohesive experience, and supporting additional student storytelling initiatives, strengthening our analytics and tracking reporting, and most importantly, maintaining secure systems. And the success of NEADS digital platforms reflects the collaboration of our staff, students, contributors. So I want to thank everyone who supports the creation of our content, programs, initiatives that help students with disabilities access information, opportunities, and the community. And thank you so much for your time and listening.
Wonderful, Ilya. Thank you. We are over time, so we won't take any question, and but if you would like the result to any staff member or board member, we would be happy to engage with you that way. I would like to thank my team comprised of staff and board members for helping me organize this AGM. Thank you also to our access team, so ASS interpreters, LSQ interpreters, captioners, as well as French and English captioner. Also thank you to Felicity and Marie for to join us for this wonderful tribute to Stephen. This is the end of the NEADS AGM 2026. Thanks, everyone.